I'm a mother. I have a 3-year-old. And I guess what I would like to know is, how can I as a parent really foster his own well-being and his own birthright as a creator? And it's difficult as a parent because you constantly are saying, oh, don't do that, don't climb on the back of that chair, you'll fall, Yes. It seems almost impossible to not place strictures upon a child, but at the same time, I very much want him to grow up, for example, with a feeling of well-being that I didn't have, and a feeling of confidence in himself and in the universe.
Well, the most important thing to do is to try your best to offer all of your guidance from your place of connection. So if you are in a place of knowing well-being before you speak, what begins to happen is you treat him like his inner being would treat him, which is you say, come this way rather than don't go that way. And there's a big difference, because in the coming this way, there is connection to Source. In the don't go that way, none of you are connected to Source in the moment. The other thing is, watch for opportunities to amplify your awareness of his connection to well-being. In other words, when he's happy, that's when you're wanting to give him your most undivided attention. When he's in a contemplative mode where he's really interested in what he's doing, that's when you're wanting to sit with him and say, oh, this is really wonderful, and you are so bright, and I love you so much, and this life experience is going to be so wonderful for you, because he's in a pure receiving mode, you see. But when he's doing something that you don't want him to do, or when he's doing something that he doesn't want to do, when he's in that disconnected state, give less attention at that time. Because the more attention you give to it, the more it brings forth. It's a very simple thing. You have songs about it. Emphasize the positive and de-emphasize the negative. And just remember that as a parent or a mentor or anyone who loves anyone, the thing that you're most wanting to assist them in doing is connect with their source energy. That is the greatest gift that you could give anyone, or that anyone could give you. And if you're not connected, then you don't have that gift to give.
So when I'm feeling frustrated with him, when he's pulling the cat's tail, because it gives him so much joy and it causes me so much anxiety, then I need to perhaps just back off and realize that, well, the cat can run away. And
the cat is having the experience with him. The cat already knows the game. The cat is not as bothered by it as you are. In other words, it's part of his exploration. It's part of the way he learns his relationship with the cat. No real harm is coming from it. In other words, as you talk yourself into a better feeling place, sometimes what happens is children love attention, and they've discovered that often they get more attention from you when they are ruffling your feathers, so to speak, than when they are not. And that's why we're saying, as early as you can, get that turned around so that they discover that you're there most when they're happy, and that you're sort of withdrawn when they're not. And then what happens is you sort of act like a surrogate to their inner being, someone that they can see that is tangible, and you teach them presence of well-being when they are feeling good, and sort of pinched off from it when they are not. You see. And then just be really easy about it, because there's no right or wrong in this. Your child is naturally joyful. Your child is naturally tuned in to source energy. And it is natural that as he is diving through and digging through contrast, that there would be some things that might disconnect him. Just don't let his disconnection then inflame your disconnection. You see.
No, I see. No, that's really helpful.
Many parents have discovered that their children really, for the most part, feel good when they do. And the ornerier you are, usually the ornerier your children are. They are a strong reflection of the way you are feeling much of the time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
I have another question. And this one is related to health and to healing. And we touched on that a little bit earlier today. But my question is, suppose you have a congenital disorder, like curvature of the spine. I have trouble with my spine. And this is something that's causing me trouble as I've gotten older, and it's causing me a lot of pain. And it's not something that anything can really be done about. It just is. It's the way my spine is shaped.
Then let's not even talk about it. If nothing can be done about it, then there's no point in even bringing it up. Or do you think maybe something can be done about it, so you want to talk about it?
Well, that was kind of my hope. That
we're just wanting to lovingly point out to you why you get stuck and why something is called congenital. That name is such a heavy anchor.
Yeah.
Because what it says is, I've had this, I've always had this, I always will have this, and I might as well not even talk about it because I've just got this. And we say nothing is like that. As you experience something not wanted, a rocket of desire of what is wanted is shot off. All you have to do is start finding vibrational harmony with what is wanted instead of continuing to resonate with what is not wanted. Your body is a reflection of your thought. So the reason people think that they get something and that it will always be with them is because they have an experience, they continued the thought, they thought the thought before they knew they were thinking the thought, and then when they found out that they were thinking the thought, they keep thinking the thought, and now they're thinking the thought about not wanting to think the thought, but they're still thinking the thought, and so they're holding this, and so on and on and on it goes. All you have to do is begin to make different statements about it.
So I believe I heard in one of the tapes that I listened to that you said that there's no physical apparatus that can't be fully restored.
Always. Yes.
So just through my own positive thoughts and creating a different vibration.
There's a few things that you have to do. You have to stop saying it's congenital. You have to stop saying that there's nothing that can be done about it. And you have to start saying, I have a resilient body that is reflective of my thought. And isn't it wonderful that as it gives me a little discomfort, I can remember that what I'm wanting is to have something that feels different. And then in your moments of, you know how sometimes your body is more comfortable than others. In a moment that it's comfortable, say, this is the way I'm supposed to feel, this is what I want my body to feel like, and sort of exaggerate or amplify that feeling of connection. And the more you do that, the more it will be believable to you that you can feel that way more of the time, until eventually you'll say, I can hardly remember the last time that I had that discomfort. Oh yeah, I remember, it was when I was mad about that, or mad about that, or mad about that. In other words, your discomfort always comes in your time of pushing against something.
Well, that's great. I had one more question, and it's, well, there's two parts. One is, do we all have non-physical help? Do we all have spirit guides or entities that are personal?
There are no exceptions to that.
Everybody?
Everyone. You are all powerfully uplifted, supported, and adored by source energy.
Not just our own inner beings, but other beings too who support us.
Oh yes, because your inner beings are all clumped together in large families.
Wow, that's really cool.
You have no idea how cool it really is.
I believe you. Well then, why is it so hard, or why is it so impermeable, or seemingly to me anyway, from my now perspective, to connect with this non-physical, or to understand it, or because I can sort of believe this and hear it and say, okay, I like that idea, but I'm looking around and I don't see it.
Physical beings have been practicing their separation for a long time. They talk about God as if it is something that is very separate from them. They see God as someone who punishes and who doesn't like them. We think that it stems primarily from what we started with here today, where you innately want to feel good. And when you see something pleasing, you do feel good. But when you see something unpleasing, you don't feel good. And then you say, we've got to change that unpleasant thing so that we can feel good. And in that effort of pushing against all those unwanted things, you cause yourself to fill with a vibration that does not allow the fullness of who you really are. And then you say, the world is not a bright and beautiful place because I'm standing in the shadows. And we say, you're standing in the shadows, but the world is still a bright and beautiful place. And you say, not from where I stand. It's that sort of cycle that happens. The good news is that even in all of that, stronger desires are born. And when a desire is born, almost without exception, you will find yourself in one time or another in the place of allowing. And so life goes on pretty darn good for most people. Let us put it to you this way. If you never heard anything about law of attraction, if you didn't know anything about Abraham or the science of deliberate creation, if you never heard about the art of allowing, but you had a grandmother, or you meet somebody on the street even today as an adult, and they emphasize in a way that you really hear it, that appreciation is a very good practice, and so all you did was just look for things to appreciate, you would live a joyous, spectacular life. If there was nothing else that you ever came to understand other than just look for things to appreciate, it's the only tool you would ever need to predominantly hook you up with who you really are. That's all you'd need.
One more just small question here. And it's about God. You were talking about God earlier, and my understanding was you said God is simply life force. So God is not an entity.
We don't use the word very often because it means different things to so many people, and so when we use it, all it does is activate a vibration within you that isn't what we mean. Somebody said to us one day, Abraham, you don't talk about God in your seminars much. And we said, well, actually, we don't talk about anything else. It's all about that. Physical humans just sort of have convoluted ideas about what it is. Source energy, or all that is, we like that word even better than God, is an expanding consciousness that, yes, is an entity. You ask, does everyone who I know in the physical format have an inner being? And we say yes. And those inner beings have inner beings who 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 have inner beings. And we're all connected to that which you want to call God. In other words, it's this source energy. As you stand in your physical format, you can focus here or focus here or focus here, but you can't focus on all things at once. And that which you call God is not focusing on all things at once as an individual entity, but when you recognize that it is this collective consciousness, then it has this ability to focus simultaneously in lots of different places. Man often wants God to be someone who is looking out, who is helping him out of trouble, where what this energy is that we are calling God, and it is a consciousness. In other words, as Esther feels the personality of Abraham and feels the comfort of knowing that we are aware of her and that we care about her and that we have knowledge that we are willing to guide her, that is the way, if we were in your physical shoes, that we would conjure the image of that which is God. In other words, it is consciousness that has full awareness of you. It is consciousness that is directed to you. It is consciousness that understands you and wants for you all things that you want. But it is not consciousness that will do for you. And it is not consciousness that believes that you are wrong, that is wanting to guide you back to another place. It is consciousness that understands the perfection of your beingness, you see. And when you are in alignment with that which it is, you are thriving. And when you step out of alignment with it, then you do not have an experience that is as satisfying. But you have full choice in all of that, you see.
Is it important to communicate with that form of consciousness?
Well, actually, you cannot help it. The cells of your body are doing it constantly. And we would say the more consciously aware you are of your connection to it and the more interactive you are, the fuller your experience will be. Because it is literally infinite intelligence that adores you.
So, prayer then, talking with God, which is something...
Prayer is a wonderful thing. And prayer that is offered from a place of allowing or expecting is divine. Prayer that is offered from a place of frustration, it is being answered. You can't hear it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.